Well, Angola has had only 3 presidents: the liberation leader Agostinho Neto, José Eduardo dos Santos, and the incumbent João Lourenço. I'm now joined by Paula Cristina Roque. She's an independent analyst and author of the book Governing in the Shadows, Angola's Securitized State. She joins us from Lisbon. Thanks a lot for talking to us, Paula. First of all, what are the important campaign issues in this election?
So I think the most important ones are standards of living. How are both parties, so the two main competitors, UNITA and the ruling party MPLA, how are they going to tackle the poverty that has deepened over the last 2 years? How are they going to generate employment? How are they going to improve services? And these are the key issues that the electorate truly cares about. In particular, like you said in your report, the youth need jobs. And this was one of the election promises in 2007 that João Lourenço has not kept. And this is a problem for his campaign.
And you mentioned the youth in the country. As we heard in that report, 2/3 of the population under 30. How much of a sway will they hold in these elections?
They will have a significant portion of the vote. So there was an Afrobarometer poll that was done a few months ago, and there were only 7 percentage points that separated UNITA from the MPLA. About a third of those that were interviewed didn't want to say who they were going to vote for. So it's a sway vote. But in reality, I think the opposition is already saying that there are so many irregularities that they're detecting. They have over 2 million voters in the register roll that are deceased or are children. And so they are fearful that those numbers will actually be used to sway the results.
Now, we do know that the incumbent president, João Lourenço, came into power with a promise to reform governance. Has he managed to do that?
So he came in as a reformer of the economy. He didn't come in as a reformer of the political system. And unfortunately, you cannot separate the two. In fact, he came in, he reformed, he called the IMF. They began structural reforms process, which were important, but they also taxed the population that was already vulnerable. He then restructured the oil company Sonangol, and that was important. He started an anti-corruption drive to get back and repatriate the funds that had been stolen from oil in the previous administration. But he failed to understand that to diversify the economy, you need to politically decentralize, because everything has been captured politically and economically by the ruling MPLA party. So right now, what's at stake, and like you said, these are existential elections, because the hegemonic power and structure of the MPLA is slowly being dismantled by the need for reform. And the MPLA is not willing to reform itself out of power, like no other ruling party, truly.
And of course, you know, the opposition parties are also complaining about corruption, which is still rife in the country. Paula Cristina Roque, an independent analyst on Angola, thank you very much for speaking to us here on Focus on Africa. Thank you.